but I knew you had a lot to say
I have
because
so many thoughts.
congratulations. So many
Thank
people you'd
you.
like to thank.
Yes, thank you. I'd like to, well, grass just looks greener, water tastes better, food tastes better. I just,
I
thank you to the
fully
Philadelphia
believe that
Eagles.
I have hoped because you and I we kind of feel like we were responsible for the whole COVID timeline that we,
Yes,
with
yes,
with
we did
Bloodspot.
that.
We did. So like I was hoping that like this kind of like I felt like a new timeline
Yes, we've
had
set a new timeline.
emerged from this. Like it was a wonderful like hater timeline.
It really was. It really was. It was like a 5 year stretch, half a decade, all because we went and saw just a terrible movie on like a Tuesday or a Thursday, and everything
Yes.
just went downhill from there.
But this Super Bowl was petty.
Yes,
It was every petty person's dream come true from the game to halftime.
yes.
Yeah, to
It just
Twitter.
Twitter was great. Um, I, it was just. It was everything I wanted. I'm trying to remember because I did the solo episode that morning,
Right.
and I think I said publicly because I know I had said it in my head that the Eagles had the roster to blow out the
Yes.
Chiefs. Like I said that I had seen someone else say it,
Yes.
but I did not think it was going to happen. But in like the darkest part of my heart, I was like, but they could. I was
They
like
could.
running it through in my head, and I'm like, they could do it.
And did you
But
get a little scared at the beginning with
yes.
that first call?
That first call sent me over the edge. We're 30 seconds into the game. You get offensive pass interference, which I mean, I know it's a flag. I think I've seen it called maybe 5 times in my
But
life.
everybody I mean, like Tom Brady was willing to say this
Yes.
is BS.
Yes.
I can't think of the guy, I can't think of his name, the refs guy that they bring
Yeah.
in,
The
Salad,
yeah.
something like that. Even he said I wouldn't have like it
Yeah.
was like, and I fully believe I know people are going to disagree with this, and I know you will probably agree with this, but everybody's like saying like, oh, well, this should prove the theory that the refs weren't in collusion. And I would like to push back on that and say, I think this game is proof that there was something because they
Yes.
actually let them play the game
Yes.
and
I 100 I said the same thing because
it
I
got
saw
out of
all the
hand.
comments. I think the Heat like a few people said it here and there, but it got to the point where Troy Aikman and commentators started talking about it. The noise got so loud that the
Yes.
NFL and the referee association, union, whatever, both had to come out and make state. The referees came out and said it was asinine to even think that. The commissioner got a question and he had like a prepared statement. Like the way he responded when he was asked about it let you know that like he's been briefed on this.
Yes.
The, so I think yes, they actually were like, you know what? These toss-up calls, like, why don't you dial it back? And they slipped up on that one because it wasn't just offensive pass interference, it was offensive pass interference on a fourth down that we converted. Like
Yes.
it wasn't just like it was second down or what. No, 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 no. This
Yes.
was we converted a fourth down and the flag came out.
Yep.
Oh man, I lost my mind. I lost my
Oh, I
mind.
was like, so it begins. I was like, oh,
Yes.
I was settled in and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
here we go.
This is
This
what we're in for.
this is going to be a long night of watching this just once again. And they I mean like then it was like, okay, did they call the one against Philadelphia like right after that? Is like was
On
that kind of
Goddard. Yes,
and
that
I
was a
thought,
soft
okay.
one.
Yeah, it was a soft one and I thought, okay. But like maybe it was maybe it was a makeup for the one that they just knew that they had messed up.
Yep,
And for the most part, they let him play. They did not, he got treated like every other quarterback
exactly. He
in
got
the
treated like
NFL.
every other quarterback. I will say that Dallas Goddard one, while I thought it was soft, I thought A, it's a makeup call. My
Yes.
other response is, according to Chiefs fans, in the Texans game, when Mahomes got those super soft hands to the face calls, You guys said by the letter of the law, any contact to the head or face is a flag. Like that is how you justified those soft calls on
Yep.
Mahomes. So, was that a soft call on Goddard? Yes.
Yes.
Was it a makeup call? Probably. But if we are going off what you said
That's right.
in like 2 weeks ago or three
Yes.
weeks
Hold the
ago,
energy.
exactly.
Hold the
Just
energy.
keep it the same. But
I
seeing Mahomes'
fully
face
believe it.
in the dirt that many times,
And so many interceptions.
so many interceptions. I know I've been roasted for this one because everyone's like they played on the same field. But the last time we played them in the Super Bowl, they tried out that experimental turf that was terrible and they've never used again. And the Eagles were slipping everywhere. We could not get pressure on Mahomes. And I know Chiefs fans are correct. Both teams played on the same field. But I always say the pass rush was so important to our team's success. So while we both played on it, it affected the Eagles more. I always say compare it to a basketball game. You've got the Warriors playing any other team in the league, and you find out right before the game starts, hey, we took the three-point line away.
Right.
Both teams have to play without the threes. One of these teams' entire identity is built around shooting threes. So, like, yes, both teams have to deal with it, but it affects one team more.
Right.
What I saw yesterday was them sticking to the game plan from 2022, and it was like, we're just going to knock you just you're going to be on the ground. We are going to smother you, ruin your timing, and then we're going to rely on our backfield to keep the ball out of the receiver's hands. That was
A beautiful game.
so satisfying
It
to
was a beautiful
watch.
game.
It was weird because I was prepared to take it down to the wire.
Right.
It
I was
was
so glad it
weird.
wasn't.
Yes, it was weird watching a Super Bowl and at halftime being like we're okay. Now I will say people were
Yes.
texting me. I went and took a picture of the Falcons Patriots meme,
Yes.
but really it's just the score of the 28-3. Anytime anyone messaged me, texted me,
You
talked to me,
you
I
and I are
held up
so
the phone, I sent it to everyone. I was like, while I feel comfortable, I've seen this movie before.
yes.
I watched it
Yes.
happen in real time. And even though the Falcons were not my team, I still haven't gotten over that.
Oh no. You and I are so much like because that was I was saying that here in the house. I was saying it on the phone and I was like, do not cheer. Do
Yes.
not get I do not want to hear you like I don't want to hear you enjoying this. Like focus. And then like the first time the I know they didn't get the extra point, but when Kansas City scored their first time, I was like, see, this is
Yep.
why you
Yep.
just keep your mouth shut and
I said the
I was
same
like, because
thing.
we have lived through this
I
before. I was like, don't you do
I sent
anything?
that to so many people. I think off the top of my head, I sent it to 5 different people through Instagram, through Messenger, through text, and then I said it twice because I had a very limited number of people over. And one of them was like, "Man, you guys are really pulling away." And I just held my phone up and I was like, "Nope, nope, here you go. Look at this."
Did you notice I never did text you? I never did be like,
Yes,
hey, it's we're doing it. I was never like
I noticed it
because
and I
I am
appreciated
so zeroed in
it.
on this game and like again, we lived through the Falcons Patriots game and it's like
Yes,
everybody at that point was hoping that the Falcons were like the nation was like please
yes,
and we just watched it like I mean now granted, maybe at that point the Patriots had the Falcons playbook, we'll never know.
yeah,
But I mean, you had that in your mind watching this game. You thought, okay, it's going to take a few third down, third or fourth down calls to go start going the wrong way,
hmm
and this game can get quickly out of hand.
yeah,
But thankfully,
yeah. It reached a point where we were up by so much that I told someone that was at my little watch party, I was like, at this point, if we lose, like this is the worst loss ever. Like I would rather it's a back and I would rather
yeah,
2022 back and forth game. I know at one point we had a 10-point lead, but I would rather it come down to the final series, the final drive, field goal at the buzzer. Like when he got to like 34, I was like, okay, like if we lose this right now, I don't think I can ever watch football again. Because like at that point, I got
No, I get
scared
it.
because I was
Yeah.
like, dude, I just
Because
I
now you're like,
can't.
we're up so much that
Yeah,
this I
the
can't like
wheels are going to fall off.
this fall will be catastrophic. Like I
Yes,
can't take
I
I
will never
can't
live this down.
it's the don't give me hope.
Yes, exactly. I was now there was like I just the one bit of hope that I did have was against the Steelers. The Eagles had set a record for like the longest drive in NFL history in the modern era, where I think the Steelers either scored or punted it, and the Eagles got the ball at the 2 yard line and had like a 12-minute drive all the way down the field. It was like Saquon would run it, Hurts would run it. Saquon would run it, Hurts would pass it 3 yards. First down, Saquon runs it again, and it took 12 minutes off the clock. And I was like, if they start getting close, I know Saquon hasn't been like killing it, but like we need to go into lockdown mode. Like you're just not getting the ball back. But
It
it never got to that point.
no, it never got to that point, and somebody had made the joke. I wish I could find it on Twitter. I mean, it would be easy, but it would like somebody said they obviously planned for Saquon and forgot everything. Like,
I saw that one too, and that's
yes,
exactly what happened. And I see people on TikTok and Twitter and Facebook saying like Saquon, well, I have a lot of thoughts about MVP and everything, but people were saying that Saquon didn't even do anything this game. I was like, on the contrary, he was so dominant in the regular and well, just everything leading up to that game that they sold their soul on
yes,
stopping him.
yes. They
That
were
was
so
his
scared of
impact.
him.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
that was his impact. You say he didn't do much. If he wasn't on the field, the defense would have been able to spread out and focus on other things. His impact in
Yep.
that game was just being there.
Yes.
Like
His impact was the season. His
yes.
impact was going nuts, yeah, throughout the entire season and having every team go, I don't like failing over and over again to
Yeah.
contain him. And then Kansas City's defense and it's like they and they did.
That
They
they did the
did.
best job of anyone all season. All season, that was his worst career game. He had 50 something yards and maybe 20 receiving yards. Like by no means like a bad game, but for the standard that he had set since September, this was his worst game of the season. But you can't say he did nothing because him just standing there on the field
Freaked them out.
forced everyone else to be like, yo, watch that guy.
Yep.
Because he could take a 60-yard run to the
Yep.
house in you blink and
Yeah.
he's down the field.
I don't it was almost like they became so singularly focused on him that they forgot to watch tapes of your defense.
Yes. I something like that it blows my mind. I was up all night. I woke up throughout the day. I've just been thinking like that was a masterclass on defense. And it wasn't
Yes.
to some average. I mean, that performance against any quarterback is legendary, but doing it to Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl
Yes.
is comparable to what the Legion of Boom did to Peyton Manning in whatever season it was when he had thrown 55 touchdowns. He set the record on like passing touchdowns and passing yards and then scored 8 points against the Seahawks. Like that's how dominant that defense was against Patrick Mahomes. I they didn't blitz. Patrick Mahomes was in the dirt the entire
Yes.
game,
And they didn't
and then to
blitz.
find out that they didn't blitz a single time,
That was cool. Oh,
I thought the guy misspoke. I was expecting
yep.
like they were gonna come back from commercial and be like, "So I know I said like no," and then he doubled down. Like, no, like this is a fact. They did not blitz. That was the front four just collapsing and suffocating the offensive line and have Mahomes running for his life. And then our exciting whites handling it from there and just intercepting the
Cooper
ball.
are exciting
Uh,
ones.
the funniest thing is every time Cooper DeJean or Reed Blankenship's makes an interception as a cornerback, like, man, this is what watching Jackie Robinson was like. It gets me every time.
Oh, and I mean, like, and for it to be on his birthday, on
Yes,
his and Saquon's
it's
birthday,
him
like
and
that's
Saquon's. Like, I wish Saquon had scored a touchdown on his birthday, but that goes back into my whole Super Bowl MVP. I was okay with Jalen having to run the offense and do a lot, not do it on his own, but be the main point because the amount of disrespect that he's gotten over the years, but specifically this year,
oh yeah,
blows my mind because when you have a Saquon Barkley and the biggest O-line in NFL history, you're not going to be passing the ball all that much, and why would you need to?
why?
But he
Right.
took care of the ball. He did not throw a lot of interceptions. I've actually pulled some numbers. In this season, this man, in 15 games, because he got hurt towards the end of the season,
Right.
threw 18 touchdowns and 5 interceptions to go along with 630 rushing yards and 14 rushing touchdowns. And for the tush push crowd, a
Everyone
lot.
can do it. You
Everyone can
just
do it. You're
choose
just
to.
not good at it. And also,
Yeah.
not all of his rushing touchdowns were from the 1 yard line. But even if they were, a touchdown is a touchdown. Like he still helped them get down the field. He has gotten more criticism this entire season while they continue to win week after week after week. 9 wins, 10 wins, 12 wins, getting criticized. This isn't sustainable. Is Hurts really that guy? Then we get to the playoffs. We beat the Packers. Jordan Love throws for 300 yards.
Right.
They tell me he had a better game, except he's in Cancun and he threw 2 interceptions. Then we play Matthew Stafford and the Rams, and Hurts only threw for 100 so and so yards. Well, Stafford threw for 300 and he's in
Right.
Cancun. Then he plays the Commanders and he does pass a lot. We have a great game, but they still said Jaden Daniels played better. Now he's in Cancun. So then we get to the Super Bowl. They shut down Saquon. Jalen Hurts has the ball in his hands, 70 rushing yards and a touchdown, 222 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. He had the one terrible interception, shouldn't have thrown that one. But I love that he got the Super Bowl MVP because it kind of puts to bed those issues.
Because I think it shows more of his leader. Because the fact is, I mean, it's no secret that him and AJ Brown have a kind of tumultuous relationship.
Yeah,
Because I mean, like, AJ Brown's like most wide receivers, I'm not getting the ball enough kind of
yeah,
thing, you know?
yeah,
So I mean, it's no secret that those two have like kind of, the AJ Brown has been a little unhappy. But I think it goes to show you that is young. I don't know how old Jalen Hurts is, but
26.
it goes to show you his leadership because when they would show him on the sidelines and with his O line around him and like just handling it and everybody listening, it like
Yeah, yeah,
I think it goes more like he cannot like AJ Brown cannot like him or he cannot like how many like how many catches he's getting or how many throws he's getting, but you can tell that he at least respects him as his quarterback.
yeah.
Like this
And yeah.
our
And what
relationship aside, this is the
exactly.
guy.
He gets the job done. I'm like you said, I might not like necessarily the method or the plan as it includes me,
Right.
but he can't argue with the results and he respects that. And what has killed me all season is Jalen Hurts has gotten more heat for putting up good numbers. Were
Mhm.
they top QB numbers? No, never argued that. But he is a winner and he is a productive part of that team. He was, like I said, he got 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. That's just passing the ball. Meanwhile, in 2015, Peyton Manning in 10 games had 9 touchdowns and 17 interceptions. While there were conversations about is this sustainable, he did not get the heat that Jalen Hurts got this season. And people in the comments, I know if as soon as we post this, they'll be like, "You're comparing Jalen Hurts to Peyton Manning." Peyton Manning is one of my favorite all-time quarterbacks.
Right.
But I'm not going to sit here and say that 2015 was anything pretty And Jalen Hurts has gotten more criticism than
Or he,
Peyton Manning did. And Peyton Manning was the worst player on that team. He relied on one of the greatest defenses of all time to legitimately carry him to a championship. And you're arguing with Hurts because he is being productive, but he's not selfish when you've got literally Saquon Barkley standing right here and the biggest O-line in NFL history. Why are we hating
like
on this
like
guy?
this. It's like, are you comparing him? Not yet.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
But don't like just because I'm not now, not yet.
Yeah.
But his career ain't over.
His
Like,
career's not over. And I look at Peyton Manning's final Super Bowl, 141 yards and one interception. Full stop. Those are his stats in the final Super Bowl that the Broncos won, and he got to ride off into the sunset with a 56.6 passer rating. We were not talking about, oh, is this sustainable? Should Peyton Manning really get the credit for this? It was no, like they relied on their strengths. Meanwhile, you've got a guy who might not be the best player on the team, but he is one of the better players on that team. He's one of the top 3 to 5 players on that team, in my opinion. And week after week after week after week, all they did was talk about, dude, we can't keep this up. And now he's a Super Bowl MVP, which I was happy that Saquon got stuffed because then you made Hurts throw the ball and he
right.
throws a deep bomb to Devontae Smith, and that was it.
Yeah, it's like if you had any questions or any doubts, just remember that they were on the cusp of winning a Super Bowl two
Yes,
years ago with him.
yes,
So I mean, again, and the reason they were back and they won it. I mean, like, yes, you did get Saquon and you picked up there's a couple of did you couple free agents or at least
yeah,
signed your yeah over the offseason. Like, you're right. That because those things, the thing is the formula or the ingredients were already a lot of the ingredients were already there. You just needed a couple more puzzle pieces to make it, let's just click this in
yeah,
and then we've got it. But let's not discount. He was there 2 years ago.
yes. And we
I
were
mean,
like that close. And he was the runner-up in MVP voting that year too.
right,
Like
and
you act like
yeah,
he's been bad. He was a MVP finalist that year.
and let's not forget, it came down to the last like minute 50 when they were given a stupid passer
We got the
interference,
Chiefs off the field because they had an incompletion on third down. Jalen Hurts is going to come down and he's going to win it. And then they
which I
got,
mean, I know you could have been like everybody can say coulda, woulda, shoulda, and it's hypothetical, but that he would have been. Again, I forgot how old he is. You could have been
24. He would have been 24 with if he won
two
that year.
super, and now you've been like just 26 now, two
Yeah.
Super Bowls in. So I mean, like, let's
Yep.
not let's you're right. So it's like, are you comparing him? No, not yet.
Not
But I
yet.
mean, like he legitimately, but it's a legitimately fun team to watch.
Yeah, it was
It really
so fun to watch them, and I tweeted out, I was like, "You're welcome, America."
is.
The world was hate watching the Chiefs, and I get it. Like nobody likes them. It is not like reason. I've never liked the Chiefs. I've never liked the Chiefs since the day I.
Apparently, a lot of the Chiefs. Did you notice how they said that like how much of the everybody tuned off after the halftime show? So my comment was, I guess we see how big of a bandwagon fan base they got.
Yeah, 100%.
Because I'm like, yeah, to me, you watch
You suffer until the
you
end.
suffer until the end. I don't care who you are. You
Yep.
suffer.
You
If you are
have
a
to
real
sit
fan, you
there. Yep.
suffer until the end. Now, speaking of, what did you think of the halftime show?
I thought it was great. It was not my favorite halftime show ever,
Right,
but it's not like in the bottom tier. Like
right.
I think the Beyonce one was really good. Honestly, I thought was it last year that was Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg and Mary J. Blige? Was that 2 years ago?
Might have been,
No, no, because last year was Usher.
yeah,
So like whatever year that one was, that one I think might be one of my favorites.
right.
But this one is maybe like a few down from there. I loved the pettiness of it. Having Serena Williams out there just cracked me up. I loved that. I loved the symbolism with Uncle Samuel L. Jackson. Like that
Yes.
one got me. I it just everything about it, there was just levels to it, as the youth say, and I loved it. I thought the sound mixing was off, and that wasn't his fault. That was like the mic, maybe like, but I'm not taking that away from him. I thought the performance itself, and he's always been a great performer with the choreography. I thought it was great. I thought it was great.
And his little grin when he said, "It was
Oh,
great."
that
Hey
killed
Drake,
me. When
I hear you like him young. I was like,
I fell out of my chair laughing so hard.
and
And
I
like
know
when
it's
he
like a lot
goes
of
in,
people's complaints where they were like, "Well, I shouldn't have like I if there's an inside joke, like I shouldn't have to know the inside joke to enjoy the Super Bowl performance." And that's true. I mean, you that I get it. I get like if you didn't understand everything that had been going on between them for the last 12, 13 years, I get it. Like, I mean, I'm not holding that against anybody who's like, like, oh, I shouldn't have to
for
like
sure.
Google to find it. True, true. Fine, fine. However, if you did know, it was for all of us who did know. Like it was,
Exactly.
and the fact, like, I mean, there's, I, a week ago, he won 5 Grammys for a diss track. I mean, like, it's this, that song. I mean, like, I know that album in general, but also just that song, just what he's been able to do. It should, like, again, like everybody's saying, is let's not forget he is a Pulitzer Prize winner.
The amount of times I have to remind people of
So
that.
it's like he clearly knows what he's doing. And it's like, okay, well, I didn't know what he was saying. You have your phone in your hand, you have a computer in your hand,
Right.
look up the lyrics and then be like, oh my God,
Yeah.
he said all like, oh,
Yeah.
like he said all that. Get in. Nobody's gatekeeping you from getting on in the inside joke.
Right.
Nobody's saying, oh, it's not like the
No,
lyrics
no,
are
you
not.
got to know somebody to know. Like, yeah, Google it. Too
Yeah,
easy.
like it's not like we like through a like an underground railroad system, everybody passed along the lyrics to each other. Like you
Right.
could look up the lyrics and there is a Wikipedia page dedicated to the Drake Kendrick feud. Like, use your resources, people. Like, you
Yes.
may not want to, and you may just want to be spoon fed everything. And you just might want to wake up and just know everything that's going on. But sometimes you don't, and you have the ability to look up this information.
Agreed.
This information was everywhere. Nobody was gatekeeping it from you. And
Exactly.
if you, after he won his Grammy, and you heard the whisperings going on about that at that time, and and then be like, oh, this guy's going to do the halftime show. You at any point could have been like, let me see what this
Yep.
is. And I'm telling you, you would have enjoyed it 1,000 times more. Like, I
And
can't
it's
even
been in
begin
the
to.
news cycle coming up on a year because I remember I was in the middle of the Star Wars marathon, and I tell
Yes.
people like I was in the movie. I've seen the movies a million times. So, midnight, 10 p.m. I'm just in my seat with my phone out on dim, everyone, kind of just scrolling, and it's like, oh, Kendrick dropped. Oh, Drake dropped. Oh, Kendrick dropped again. So I'm in this movie theater with like an AirPod in, trying to listen to
Right,
the diss
right.
track. Like, so this has been going on since
May.
May because I
Yes.
was in a movie theater when this
Right.
was all going on.
And
Like,
it was literally day after day after day
yes,
and it was like, just again, there is no secret password that you needed to have. It wasn't
yep,
like, oh, you needed a black friend to like explain
right.
this. It's on the
It's
internet.
right there.
Read it and like
Ugh,
just enjoy it for like what can be done if you are talented and artistic enough. What can possibly be done with, I mean, like, again, with the right talent and the right creativity, that you can take basically a slam poem and put it to a good beat, win some Grammys, humiliate him, and then go on like that's one weekend. The next weekend, in front of 120 million people, you then perform it again, and you say, and you call him that in front of it, and have the whole stadium and everybody in their house
yes. That was incredible.
saying,
All in like a 15-minute time span. Like he did all of that for the Super Bowl in like 15 minutes. Like,
and everybody was like sitting on pin, like everybody again who knew was like waiting for that song to start and
Because they
waiting.
teased it at like his
Yes.
second song, he teased it and then was like, I know he likes to sue. I was like, this man is a menace, and he is reminding me that I need to be a better hater.
I loved it because I was like, it is too funny to me that this game they keep showing the Tom Brady Snoop Dogg like don't
Oh,
like don't be like hateful and like be nice to everybody. And this entire Super Bowl, the game, the halftime show was
all
built
of it,
around the haterade, the haterism.
all
There
of
was
it.
just I was like, your message is being lost right now. I understand what you're
It
trying to
very
do.
much is.
However, like us petty people are trying to enjoy this right now,
Oh,
please.
I loved every minute of it. And like you said, like that being included with the Super Bowl performance of the game just made it so much better. Like all of it. Because like America, Eagles fans do not have a lot of fans outside. Well, we have a lot of fans, but like a lot of other fan bases absolutely hate Eagles fans.
Sure.
And as an Eagles fan, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
So it was weird to see the amount of people that were like, no, like we want you guys to win. We need you guys to win. We need you to basically they needed us to be dynasty
America is
killers.
counting on you.
Yeah, we ended the Tom Brady dynasty, and we ended the Chiefs' potential three-peat, which I was stressed because if they had gone and gotten the three-peat, would have been historic, and I would have hated it. But the part that I would have hated the most is that when the documentary came out, the start and end of that three-peat would have been the Philadelphia Eagles. I was
Yes.
literally telling Sarah that morning, I was like, if we were playing the Bills or the Chargers or the Broncos or the Ravens, I'm still pulling for the Eagles to win,
Right.
always. But if we lost, I would eventually get over it. I'm like, well, I'm happy
Right.
for Lamar. I'm happy
Sure.
for Josh Allen. If they three-peated yesterday, I would never get over it. Like it would haunt me
You're right. Well,
forever.
it clearly haunted Jalen Hurts because of
The phone
they showed the wall,
screen.
yeah, his wallpaper screen of
Yeah.
him walking off last time when they
Yes.
won it. So I was like, if anybody doubts manifestation, like that's the kind of again, that's the kind of petty and the kind of chip on your shoulder that you need.
And I remember I said this before the game, and then I said it during the game that I was happy that there was still a lot of players from the 22 team
Yeah.
that were on this team,
Yeah.
because you get up big, you go into halftime, and even though you like everyone talks about the Patriots and the Falcons, you know that's a thing. You needed Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni, Brandon Graham, Lane Johnson. You needed all of those guys that were there 2 years ago to be like, no, 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 no. Like we are not done yet.
Yes.
Keep
Do
the
not
foot
take your
on the
foot off the gas.
gas.
Yeah. Do not
Like,
take your foot
and
off the gas.
we during the regular season would come out at halftime a little sluggish. Chiefs got the ball. I was like, oh man, here we go.
Right.
Three and out. We got the ball back. I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, so like the defense, I think they got maybe one or two first downs,
Yeah. It was, yeah.
but then we got the ball back. And I was
Hmm.
like, okay.
Okay.
Like we came out of halftime still focused. And then we get to the point where I've replayed the clip 1,000 times from the Devonta Smith touchdown. One of my favorite parts about it is not that Hurts threw it from the 50-yard line, but literally they snapped the ball and the guy's like, all right, now the Eagles are going to run some clock. And then Jalen, because like you think, yeah, we're going to sit on the ball now. And then Jalen Hurts drops back and he's like, maybe not. Maybe they're going for the dagger. And then he
Yes.
throws it 50 yards and scores a touchdown. Like just everything. Hurts being the one to throw it because, oh, Hurts can't throw. Devonta Smith, the undersized wide receiver, and then just the commentators literally saying, this is when you sit on the ball and run the clock out. And the Eagles being like, no, we're not doing that. We're
No.
going to hang seven more on them.
Yeah.
Like
We need to make this. We can't trust that this game on the other side won't get out of hand. So if
that,
we,
that was the first moment that I really started to, I loosened up a little bit when we hit that one because at that point it was after halftime.
yes.
We got the ball back, and then we scored a touchdown. I was still terrified, but at least I was like, okay, we are
It
still
was like
focused.
it took me until I think there was like 7 minutes left in the
6 minutes
fourth quarter.
for me is when I was like, at this point, it is if they come back now, I will be less mad and more just impressed. Once we hit like the 6 minute mark, if the Chiefs come back now, like you got it. Like I won't even be mad.
Unless it was about calls.
Well, yes, true, true.
Right. I mean, unless it was the calls started, but like I said, well, I mean, circle back to the beginning. I fully believe, I think a lot of times people are, I think they're thinking that this is the flex is saying like, look, look, the cheat, but I'm saying that you're absolutely proving like this game actually proved the opposite point of what
Yep,
you think you're doing is they let them play. They didn't call ticky tack calls, and this is what happened.
yep. The commissioner and
The
the
better
referee
team prevailed.
association both came out and made statements. That was the moment you knew,
The better
like,
team prevailed.
we
Yep.
need to dial it back
Yep.
and let them play. I
And
100% agree with you.
my statement, I was on another podcast earlier or this weekend, and the conversation came up about the Chiefs and stuff, and I said it's you can't tell me you cannot say in one breath the refs and the calls have had no impact on the game and they're not favoring them, and then in another breath right after that say, however, we're going to start reviewing plays differently next season.
I
You can't
said the same thing when
that
they
makes
made that announcement a few weeks ago. And
that
I
makes
said,
zero sense.
if it bothers you that they are going to take a closer look at calls, I have some news for
Right,
you.
that's right. Like you cannot say there's nothing to see here. However, we're going to completely revamp we're going to start looking into calls and slides and all like that. Like to me, you're it's like you're talking like you're trying to talk out of both sides of your mouth at one time, but it's like this doesn't make sense. If there's
It's the
nothing,
OJ, I didn't do it, but if I did, here's how
but
I would have done it. Like,
but
yeah,
let's just say if there were hinky calls going on, we're going to be looking at them a little bit
yep.
more. You're just like, well, okay,
If
so
there's
that's
nothing
reason.
wrong, then why are you doing it? If there's no
And
smoke, why are you calling a fire truck?
that was kind of my only like the don't give me hope kind of feeling that
Yes.
you had was I kind of felt like maybe they're going to crack down. Maybe they're going to put a stranglehold on this for the calls for the Super Bowl, and they're just going to let them play the game and let
Yeah.
the better team prevail. And
Yeah.
whatever it is whatever it is. Stop manufacturing and stop massaging and stop like caressing this, because again, it doesn't take a whole bunch.
Yeah.
It doesn't take a whole bunch of calls. It takes a few calls at the right time to just momentum is a thing. You can completely wipe it out, or you completely can increase it. Like it just yeah. So it happened. We're both you're happy for other reasons. I mean, like I am happy there with you. I'm not a lifelong Eagles fan like you
Right.
were, Ben, but I mean, like I think everybody was just kind of
Yeah. Well,
like
seeing
this
Chiefs
is
fans, Chiefs players after the game, DeAndre Hopkins, who tripped and dropped a wide open pass on third down, was like,
did you
"Oh,
hear
y'all ain't
him?
gonna talk about the touchy calls." And then there was a guy in the locker room, I forget who it was like, "Yeah, there were some calls I didn't agree with. Not making excuses, but there were some calls I didn't agree
Like,
with."
oh now.
Yeah, now. And there was a guy on Twitter who was like, I saw Jalen Carter hit Mahomes in the face. That should have been called. Like, you guys want to talk about flags? I'm like, aren't you the same guy that when the Texans said something was like, man, I wish I missed the days when people just accepted their loss and took it like men. Like, it was either that guy or his teammate said it, and now here are three different
Right.
Chiefs
Like
players.
all of a sudden now the refs matter, huh? What?
Exactly. Yeah,
Hmm.
that
Hmm.
was wild. But no, it's gonna be a great off season just because I don't have to worry about like obviously I want us to be dominant and win every year.
Sure.
But I've said like winning a Super Bowl or any championship, I can put up with a few years of mediocrity
Right.
after. Like obviously I don't want that to happen,
Right.
but if we win this year and then next year we go out in the first round, it's like, hey, but we got the ring. Like
Right.
we got one recently.
Right.
So
We're still reigning Super Bowl champs, right? Kind of
exactly.
thing.
Like that Super Bowl will hold me over for a few more years.
All right. Well, we're gonna end it there because it's just a good thing, and we wanted to
Yes.
talk about it. And so, um, catch Will's previous podcast where he talks about, and it's kind of fun to go back and watch it. I
Yes.
personally am gonna go back and watch Hard Knocks with the Giants to
I,
enjoy.
I didn't really watch it. Obviously, I've seen clips, but after Saquon had, in my opinion, the greatest running back season ever, just because the touchdowns, the Super Bowl, and he has
Yeah,
officially most rushing yards of any player in a
yeah.
full season. At worst, he's had the second greatest running back season.
I did see that there was, I forgot who it was. There was an Eagles fan that got one of those big cards that wanted that is sending it to the Giants and wanted to say that your contributions have not gone unnoticed. And thanks this year, I'll have to send you that YouTube
Ugh,
video. But yeah, so yeah, I think I'm going to kind of enjoy going back and watching that, kind of like the instead of, like sometimes you'll watch things and you're like, no, you see where this is going, and you're just like,
yes,
no, like I'm going to watch this and be like, oh,
you just love it. Yeah, I can go
this
back and
is so
watch it and
funny.
be happy about it because you know how it ends. And
Yes.
literally, it's like people forgot how good Saquon was. Like being in the division, I
Yeah.
saw him twice a year. I knew how big those quads were,
Oh,
but it's like he just reminded everyone, like, hey,
yes.
like I'm still that guy.
I'm still that guy. Like I'm still like, don't like just because I'm on a like the team was crap. I was not crap.
Yes.
Like that's let's remind you that I was dominant in Penn State, and I am still one of the best. And
2,000 yards.
so
Like,
it's like, yeah. Yeah. So yes, yay. And
yes.
so yeah, go back, check the Whales out. Like I said, I'm going to be watching Hard Knocks and see them like start to lose, put show all their money in on Daniel Jones. And
Who didn't even make it through this season. I
I
can't
know,
get over that.
six,
Like
8 weeks, was it?
the
Something like
guy
that?
you picked, the guy you let go, ran for 2,000 yards, offensive player of the year, wins the Super Bowl. The guy you picked and paid over him is now in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Did not even last the season. Like everybody in that room should have been fired that day.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody needs to go back and watch it. It's great. It's on HBO Max. It's
HBO Max,
hilarious to
yes.
watch. It's hilarious to watch because the owner knows,
Yes.
it can see it, and he's not the one making the decision. He's leaving it to the GM, and the GM just oof.
Yep. And
Yeah.
that same GM passed on Jaden Daniels as well.
Yes. Yeah, when his son told him to
Yeah.
draft him. So yeah.
Whew.
So yeah, go back, watch Wills, and then our next episode coming up later this week is going to be movies we are looking forward to this season. We've
Yes.
already talked about TV shows, and so now we're going to talk about movies that we're looking forward. 2025, one which is coming at the end of this week. Maybe.
It's
Well,
on
we'll
my
wait for
list.
that.
I I am
We'll love that.
anticipating it. I'll give you that.
Right. So we'll see. So until then, check us out. You can find Will at, is it underscore WIL underscore
No
DA?
underscore until the
Oh,
WIL
oh, until
underscore.
the very
Yeah.
end.
Duh underscore beast.
WIL WIL underscore DA underscore beast underscore.
Yes.
Yes. All right. And find me right there.
Oh yeah. It makes it so much easier.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Oh.